You're listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. Powered by Ecstasy Media Productions. Let's get this rock rolling. Let's get this rock rolling. Let's get this rock. And now for your host, DJ Dog. Hey, I'm Doc, and I'm the host of Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. First and foremost, I want to apologize for canceling last week's show. Bex and I both came down with pneumonia. We initially thought that it was COVID, and so we went in to get tested for it, and the doctor was like, well, I've got good news and bad news. And we were like, okay. And he's like, the good news is you don't have COVID. The bad news is you both have pneumonia. So, yeah, we've been in bed, resting a lot and keeping hydrated and a lot of soup and a lot of medicine. But we're both doing better, a lot better. I'm doing a lot better. She's still a little rough, but she's doing well. So thank you guys, everyone that wished us well and kept us in your thoughts and your prayers. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. It really does mean a lot to us from the bottom of our hearts. I've got one hell of a show lined up for you. Later on in the show, I'll be joined by Frank from DrownAgain, and we're going to discuss their newest single, Seeing Clear. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. I definitely had a great time talking with Frank. He's a very good friend of mine. So let's get the rock rolling, as I always say. I've got Beyond Today with their newest single, Upside Down. So I'll see you guys back here in a bit. You were listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
to the table, now let's make a deal. Business and pleasure, now let's make it real. Sit back, relax, and let's unwind. No going back this time. You thought you could take this opportunity with impunity when you signed that dotted line. Don't you know what's in store for you, or what I'll put you through, so I can control your mind. It's now or never. You're out of time. You should've known better, 'cause now you're mine. Sitting on your shoulder, whisper in your ear all the little things that you need to hear. There's no mistake, you'd be satisfied. Now feed the demon inside. You thought you could keep your humanity or your sanity when you signed that dotted line. But I gotta get through to you that no matter what you do, the blood on your hands can't turn back time. It's now or never. You're out of time. You should've known better, 'cause now you're mine. I'll let it take its course, 'cause I have no remorse. I'm pulling all your strings. Now I own everything. You can take this opportunity with impunity when you sign that dotted line. Don't you know what's in store for you, or what I'll put you through, so I can control your mind. It's now or never. You're out of time. You should've known better, 'cause now you're mine. It's now or never. You're out of time. You should've known better, 'cause now you're mine.
And that was Dark Remedy with Now or Never. Before that, that was Weightless World with Sleepwalking. What I've got up next for you is Doll with Hand of Hate. I'll see you guys back here in a bit. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. Hey, I'm Doc here on Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. And today, guys, I'm joined by Frank again from DrownAgain. Frank, welcome back to the show, man.
How's it going, Doc? Happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, man. How have things been since you were on the show last?
We've been working on with some people in London on some festivals for next year. We've been doing just a ton of recording. We're doing some side recording for some movie projects. I mean, just all kinds of music.
Very cool. Very cool. Mm-hmm. And you guys have a new single out called Seeing Clear, and it's to be released on November 24th, Black Friday. I want to congratulate you on that.
No, we picked Black Friday. We figured that was a great day. A lot of people be on their phones and fooling around, and
very nice.
Good day to check out some new tunes.
Very nice, very nice. I've heard the tune, and it is phenomenal. It is. We discussed in the pre-interview. It's a direction I didn't see you guys going with a whole sci-fi vibe, but it's a wonderful track, man. I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, we were really pleased after I got the music composed and mapped out. Yeah, I mean, the final product, it's just catchy as all get out.
Definitely, man. It's got that melodic hook in there. It's very bass heavy. Didn't expect the keyboards or whatever you guys use, like a synth, or what did you guys use?
Our singer Rob does that. He's using synth and some keyboard. I don't even know. Yeah,
it is.
That's all he loves. He's big on the keys and
yeah.
He came up with some great stuff for that song.
Very nice. I want to ask you about the name of the song and its concept. It seems to be a very deep song.
Yeah, so like I was telling you in the pre-interview, the whole concept of the song came when I was homesick with COVID, and so I was just noodling on the guitar, and I came up with the basics, and the whole time, during that time, there was a whole lot of differing opinions in society about COVID, and then I started thinking about all the other maybe things we're taught as young kids that you find out later aren't really true,
Yeah.
And so that concept of reaching a maturity level where you see through all the nonsense that you're spoon-fed as you're growing up, and so that's kind of what the song's about.
Very nice. And do you guys have a music video planned for it? Because you guys could go in so many different directions with that if you were to do a music video for it.
Yeah, no, I've already kind of got an outline of the concept, different parts for, like you were talking, a little bit of sci-fi, a little deep thought, trying to find clarity of thought. If that makes any sense, just trying to shuffle through all the nonsense that's out there now in society and look for truth and live it.
Very nice, man. Very nice. And like I said, you guys could go in so many different directions with that song. I mean, just it's sci-fi vibe. It's very bass heavy, and it's got that melodic hook to it. I mean, it's a phenomenal song. I'm getting ready to play it. You guys sent me the promo artwork for it. Who did that exactly?
Oh, I did. I actually did that.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was the concept behind that artwork?
Well, the concept was, getting above all the nonsense and being able to see, being able to see out, see across your existence and look for different truth, Very that cool. Was kind of what I wanted to perceive in that,
Yeah.
Everyone is so wrapped in their own little world sometimes it's all perspective,
Yeah. It seems to be a song about perspectives. From what I've gathered from it and listening to the lyrics, and I've been listening to the song nonstop since you sent it over to me, and it's A phenomenal song. I'm going to go ahead and play it now. This is DrownAgain with Seeing Clear. We'll catch you guys back here in a bit. You're listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
Step in line with what you've been told.
things that you heard about me. I don't give a damn, words can't make me bleed. You're a liar, you're a cheater, you're alone and afraid. Every new word from you, I feel the same. So help me stand. You're one moment away from losing it every day. No one cares who you are. They'll just keep using you, 'cause they're not walking in your shoes. Every time you try to tell me that you're here for me, you'll sever the love in time. You make it all so easy. You can't deny the greed in your words. So help me stand. You're one moment away from losing it every day. No one cares who you are. They'll just keep using you, 'cause they're not walking in your shoes. Yeah. Check out what you've been doing. No one will stop you running. I can't believe you're changing everything that could become. You're one moment away from losing it every day. No one cares who you are. They'll just keep using you, 'cause they're not walking in your shoes. They don't care who you
And that was Polarity by Shades of Raven. Before that, that was Cold Words with Bad News. What I've got up next for you is Penny Fountain with White Whale. I'll see you guys back here in a bit. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
Come to me in a dream. Tell me what you are, what you need. Come to me as anything. Tell me what you are. Do you need me?
Hey, I'm Doc here on Ecstasy Radio, and I'm joined here again by Frank from DrownAgain. So, Frank, we've talked about this in the pre-interview. How long did it take you to write this song exactly?
Well, it all flowed out real fast musically. I was homesick, so I was just noodling around on the guitar, and then I liked what was coming out, so I was like, okay, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I sat down and started mapping it out, and by 4, it was done.
Very cool.
And then I hand it. Usually, what happens is I take the concept, I hand it off to Rob, our singer, and Eric, our bass player, because they do a lot of the lyric writing, and they got together and just took what I had and really polished it up to gold,
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about how the song itself is so bass heavy. What was the inspiration or reason behind that?
Yeah, because it is kind of a darker concept, and the bass line that, was kind of put to it is like, okay, that is such a cool driving bass line. It cannot be in the background. It's like almost more forefront, which gives it the drive. Yeah, and it creates a whole vibe about it, and it is just really cool.
Yeah, and you told me that the song pretty much wrote itself.
Oh yeah. I was tinkering with the intro, and all of a sudden it just flowed right out. And all I kept hearing, like I was telling you, was I kept hearing this old school, first or second album Queensryche kind of vibe, and that's where I wanted it to be. And our singer, he kind of has a deeper voice, and he balked at singing that high, and I was like, nah, come on, you can do it. and he pulled it off really good. Very cool. You weren't sure if he was going to be able to sing that high. No, I wasn't. Because sometimes he'll be like, you got to detune, and this one was just a half step down. It wasn't detuned much, but that was where I couldn't hear it any other way. Yeah. And he recorded the melodic hook in the chorus, and he sent it over to you, and you were pretty impressed. Oh yeah. No, I was like, yeah, you nailed it. You got it. There it goes, man. I was like, see, I knew you could do it, Rob. I knew you could do it, buddy.
just tighten up your nuts there a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Zip tie those nuts and get on it.
There you go. So I want to ask you, is there a possible album or EP that will follow up the release of this new single?
Yeah, honestly, we've got 7 or 8 really cool songs. Yeah, that are just, they need a couple of, there's some guitar solos that need put in place and whatnot. Yeah, we're sitting on some really cool stuff. So we look to either drop an EP or an LP first part of the year. Very cool. But we wanted to get something out this year. And I personally decided I wanted this song because it just seemed fitting, right? And I just like, this is a really cool song, and I think people will enjoy it.
You have perfect timing, because it'll give it'll give people something to rock out to over the holidays. So yeah, none of that Mariah Carey Christmas crap. So we're not going there. So yeah, being that you do have an EP or like an LP or something planned for early next year, do you have a working title for it yet?
It's either going to stay with Seeing Clear, and I know we had a couple others. It hasn't 100% been decided, but Seeing Clear, actually, I mean, it could evolve around several of these songs. Yeah, just that whole concept, and so that might be the title.
Okay, very cool. And you sent me some of the demo clips that you guys have been producing, and I've heard them, and I have to commend you on those. Those are incredible. I don't know if that's what you're working on for the new album, but what you guys are working on is just phenomenal. Phenomenal music, and I want to ask you a little bit about the inspirations behind those clips.
Yeah. Now, one of those, we got asked to kind of work up a vibe for a possible, probably a low budget movie. So we kind of caught, and I think that one was The Ghost of You and Me I sent you.
Yes.
I don't know if that's, that is such a more mainstream sound. I don't know if that would go on our album, but I thought the song really turned out well.
Yeah, it did. It's a little bit more poppy than I would have thought that you guys would do, but still, I could see it on a DrownAgain album. I really could.
Yeah, that one, what started that one was the bass player, and you remember there's some little bass chimes in the beginning.
Yes.
And Eric brought those to me. He just like, I've been doing this and I don't know why. And then, so once again, within about an hour, I had wrote the music for that song just off those bass chimes. And I was like, no, this isn't real hard rock music. This is more, like you said, a little more poppy.
Yeah.
But it sounds really good.
It sounds like you guys. I mean, you know who it is when you hear it. I wish I could share it with people, but I can't. But what was the inspiration behind that song?
Well, Eric brought those chimes in, and then he also had written this lyrics for it that were kind of the failure of like, two people in love and then one person doesn't recognize the other anymore.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what that song's about, is like, all, you're just the ghost, it's like, and you can take whatever inference, whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's a failing marriage, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the concept lyrically on that.
Yeah. Lyrically, when you told me about it and I heard it, it kind of reminded me of that movie, The Notebook, where he has to tell her the story of their relationship every day, Every day, yeah. Kind of
and it's kind of in that vein, but we wanted it enough. And I don't know if even lyrically it's finalized.
Yeah.
I'm sure something will get changed. It's kind of a work in progress, but
it's a demo. Yeah.
I thought you would enjoy it,
Oh, I definitely did. And, send me some more of your stuff that you're working on. I always enjoy listening to that stuff. Do you have any working titles? And I know Ghost of Me and You, is the title for that song. For any of the other things that you've sent me, the demos, do you have any other working titles?
I'm trying to remember everything I've sent you.
You sent me a lot, so
I know.
And I love it. I love every bit of it.
Yeah, no. Well, and sometimes we like to, when we're working on songs, we like to get some critique.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have about 10 people that I send out to get feedback.
Yeah.
Because sometimes what you hear in your head and you think is awesome, it doesn't translate.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to, when you're working on something so much, it's hard to see the forest from the trees. So I get that.
And so I have like 5 women and 5 guys. So I get an array of perspective.
Yeah.
And, if everyone, and I told, and they understand, I've used them for years, is, be brutally honest.
Yeah.
I don't want you, oh yeah, that's great. Just if you don't like the chorus or you don't like the verses or whatever.
Yeah.
Because sometimes artists, as a musician, you're your own worst critic. And where everyone else is like, this is awesome. What are you talking about? Yeah. And so I try to really get a broad perspective to make sure that we're putting out something that's at least quality.
Yeah, when you're putting out art, it's always good to have that reassurance that that what you're putting out is what they want to hear. Because obviously, you're not going to put out something for yourself to listen to. I mean, you've already heard it so many times. You want to make sure that you're not wasting anyone's time. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and it's just to make sure, now, and then sometimes as an artist, like you've heard the song in your head,
Mm-hmm.
and then you recorded it, and sometimes it doesn't translate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, I always like to get outside perspective, because, not everyone's going to like one song. Like some people may like Seeing Clear, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
The overall vibe and response was very positive.
That's very cool. And
that's why I was like, yeah, this one's ready to go. This is a good song.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to put your babies out there, and
I know.
yeah. I still have to send you some of the stuff that I'm working on too.
Well, I was going to ask you, if you had gotten back into that more.
Yeah, I have.
I know time.
Yeah, it kind of, yes. I mean, I do little bits and bobs there, like I've got some demos of, I'm working on a tribute album, cover album, just cover songs, and just looking for the right musicians to work with for it, and to
that's hard.
It is. And then, of course, I've got my radio work I got to do, so I kind of drift in and out of working on things, but the things that I've been working on, I think I'm really happy with. I think they're really good. I think they're true to the original songs, I think. And but they, they kind of have I don't know, my flair on it, I guess. I don't know. I think it's a work in progress. And I'm like, I've sent some of the things that I've been working on to some of my really close friends and let them hear what I've been working on. And I've gotten some pretty positive things about them, but I don't know.
I'll tell you what, unfortunately, Rob, our singer, couldn't be on this one. He works with a lot of people in music, and he's really good at hashing things out.
Yeah.
And so if you ever said, hey, I've got X project, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because Rob and I mean, we're like in sync so much. And then I've worked, Eric's been my bass player for 10 years at least. And so I've been surrounded with people that if I send them something, they know where I'm going. It's not a struggle. And the 20 years prior in music, I didn't have that. Yeah. And it's always a fist fight and egos, and everyone wants it their way. Yeah. Where we just want to put out a good song.
Yeah.
So
with these, I've got several demos that have been recorded, and they're really good. I think they're really good. And the whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because I get asked all the time, being a radio DJ and a show host here on Ecstasy Radio, who are your inspirations? Like, where do you get your music taste from? Like, it's no secret I grew up in a musical family. I did.
Okay.
And so a lot of people ask, well, who are your inspirations? Who do you get your music taste from? So instead of answering it, the traditional way, I thought I'd show people exactly where I get it from.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
and that could turn into a whole separate show.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like me, I'm everyone from the Eagles in the '70s to Slayer, and I listen to such an array of music.
Yeah.
I just love it,
Yeah.
And even if I wasn't putting out music, I would still write and record it just because it's in me and I have to.
Yeah. And that's the way it should be. I mean, that's the whole reason I started radio to begin with. It's my unconditional love for music. I love talking with musicians like you and getting to hear what you guys are doing, and and the various other artists that we work with. It's my unconditional love of music. That's the whole reason behind Ecstasy Radio, why we do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, you just talked about some covers. Somebody asked us to do a rocked up version of Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears.
That would be interesting.
And so I did the music, and it's actually not bad. It actually is. It's fun.
Well, that's the best part, man. I mean, that's the whole reason to do it, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, wow. I mean, you could totally throw that on the radio. I mean,
yeah,
because everybody and their dog knows the song.
Yeah.
And then you just you add a serious rocked up flair to it, and it's all of a sudden this is a whole new song.
Right. It's that would be very interesting to see DrownAgain do something like that.
Oh yeah.
But you guys could pull it off. I'm sure you could. I do have to ask you the next question. The next question is, are there any of the demos that you sent me? And I know you're probably gonna ask, or you're probably gonna answer Ghost of Me and You. Are there any of them that you feel right now can make for another single?
Yeah, Ghost. I can't remember if I sent you Chased by Demons. It's a little heavier.
Yeah.
Chased by Demons is really good. But it's a lot heavier than like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Basically we try to get together collectively, and pick and choose songs that generally send the message on the album.
Mm-hmm.
We might throw an oddball in there but we record so much music, and then you kind of go back and like, okay, what goes, should this stuff be on this album? Yeah. Because you want a nice flow on an album.
Yes.
That's how we were.
Yeah. Good dynamic too.
Yeah, that's how, you don't want every song to sound the same. Sometimes you got a few fast songs, you slow it down, bring it down, just see what flows nice.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing we kind of failed on the first album. But we were a relatively new band.
Yeah.
And so we were still kind of figuring out what's what, but I think we've got a real good sense of the music we want to do now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you'll see, songs that are in that Seeing Clear vein.
Mm-hmm.
You might see one that's a little poppier, like that Ghost song, but most of them will be within that range.
Yeah.
It's because that's kind of where we're at. I don't want to pigeonhole ourselves. I mean, we pretty much will record anything if we like it.
Yeah. Well, never be afraid to experiment too.
And that's the thing. Basically, you do music and art for yourself, but when you're putting out a product, that's a whole other animal.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, because you want people to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
But on the same token, people don't buy albums like they used to.
They don't. No, that's why a lot of I was talking with Paul Crosby. You know Paul. Yeah, he manages you guys.
Right.
I was talking with him about it, and I was talking with Matt Hall also with Inner Outlines. They were talking. We've been talking about that, how people don't release albums like they used to because nobody really buys albums anymore. They buy singles on Spotify, and so a lot of bands are working more toward the less traditional releasing an album. They're actually working more toward just releasing singles. And
just release singles, let it build up, and then release an EP.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to go to vinyl, if you're going to put it out in vinyl, the vinyl people are still loving the album concept.
Yeah, vinyl's coming back. It's one of those retro things that are coming back, and people are buying vinyl albums. Yeah.
No, I mean, and I understand why. It's a more intimate experience. Even like when growing up, even you buy a CD, you pop it in, you pull out all the liner notes, you read all the lyrics. You're connected with the music.
Yeah.
Just hearing stuff on Spotify, you're not connected to it.
No, it's not very immersive. And
no,
I think that's what I
it's
hate,
kind of our
yeah,
fast food society, you know, everybody,
much,
they just
yeah.
want it now. And
yeah,
you know, but there are true music lovers
Yeah.
that really like getting, you know, they like their hands on a physical something.
yeah. And I'm one of
CD,
those people.
album.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people too. I want to pull out the notes. I want to read what the band wrote in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to see where they recorded, who they're, you know, who's their management, whatever, you know, just
Yeah.
so you can learn about.
Yeah. That's, you know, and you can't beat the smell of vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
New vinyl, you can't beat. It's kind of like cracking open a new book, you know, for the first
Right.
time. You know, you can't get the same experience. And
Now, Eric, our bass player, he probably has 2 full rooms of walls of albums, and he has invested in a massive turntable and what is that, McIntyre or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, he just loves that stuff.
Yeah.
And locally, he had started an album listening club where people would show up once a week. They'd crack open wine or a booze or whatever. And, you know, the rule was once the album started, you couldn't talk. You just had to listen.
That sounds like a club I want to join.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and then they would, you know, afterwards, they listened to the album. They would, you know, talk about it and mingle and, you know, just had a good evening.
Yeah.
And he actually had quite a few people show up for that.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. I would have, you know, not to get off topic a little bit, but I mean, it's on topic, but I'm not sure if you're familiar with the band Opeth from Sweden.
Oh,
yeah. Michael Ackerfeld, who's the frontman of that band, he's an avid vinyl and record collector.
Yeah.
He really is. And he's got a very, very extensive collection of albums. I'd love to see what he's got in his collection, but
oh, yeah, I bet it's crazy. Yeah, crazy.
I'm sure it is. You know, and I wanted to ask you too, not now we are going to get a little off topic. But lyrically, I want to know what sort of concepts you work with, and if there are any concepts that you haven't yet explored that you would like to explore lyrically or musically.
Now, I'm kind of the main composer of the band. I write the majority of the music.
Yeah.
And the music tends to be inspired by something. And that's kind of where we go. Yeah. It's hard for me to say, I want to go this direction and make it happen. It's usually, for me, it's all spontaneous.
Yeah.
Now I did, you know, I told the guys after the Emerge album, I didn't want to be as dark as we were on that album. It just, you know, there was a lot of darkness and death and, you know, misery in that album. And I didn't want to put out an album that's there. We could be serious, but I didn't want to be that dark.
Yeah.
And so I guess my goal there, I was like, you know, even have some fun with it, you know, like I mentioned, Chased by Demons.
Yeah.
That whole concept for that song came about. I was watching something about, you know, these musicians and all the women that were chasing them, you know, in their life. And that's kind of what it is. You know, these famous people get chased by these, I guess you'd call them gold diggers, and so that's the demons are the chasers.
It kind of reminds me of that song "Paparazzi" by Lady Gaga.
Yeah. And so that song will be a lot. I mean, it has a dark name, but it's actually a fun song.
Yeah.
I just did. I was like, I don't want to do too much. I want to write ambiguous, I guess would be the term.
Yeah.
so that people can draw in their own experiences.
Yeah, you don't want to be so direct.
Yeah. It's more vague and where some of those songs are very direct. You know what they're about. It's and so I was like, I guess our goal would be to put it out there and let people get what they feel out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that makes people attached to it.
Right.
Because music's so emotional that if you let them bring in their perspectives and their life experiences, now they are totally connected to the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the reason I asked you that was because, like I said, I didn't expect you guys to go the whole sci-fi route. And then, of course, with Ghost of Me and You guys are kind of more poppy. So I wanted to get an idea of exactly, what sort of things have you not explored yet that you would like to, and musically or lyrically. So that was... we've been kind of working on, and I've got a couple songs that I really think will be great. Mm-hmm.
And they're I guess since you used the term sci-fi, they're kind of a blues sci-fi, and I'll have to send it to you so you understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be the only way I could describe it, and I see some really, really interesting, fun songs coming out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got those. They're not finished, but they're samples that I think that could be a fun direction for a couple songs.
Okay.
Bring in some harmonica and even a banjo. They're just kind of a weird vibe about them.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds weird. One thing that one thing that I think you guys would probably do really well at is playing with a steel guitar.
It's funny you say that. Talking to Rob last week, we've got a couple more acoustically driven guitars. So, and I was like, I could hear some steel parts in there. Even if the steel had a little hint of distortion on it.
Yeah.
Just to add some weird ambience.
Yeah.
Because that's where my focus has been, really, because a lot of times the meat and potatoes of the song come out pretty easy.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do in the background?
Yeah.
What's that's where my focus has been, is what's going to create the drama in this song.
Yeah.
And
that's
not always an easy answer.
No, it's not. How to create like a sonic atmosphere,
Exactly.
And I think a lot of songs nowadays, they lack that. They're more direct in their musicality, and the texture of it is off. They lack that sonic landscape.
They're one directional. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Not to plug One Direction in here.
Right. Oops. No. And that's the thing, when you're recording, you have to think of that stereo spectrum as like a Bob Ross painting. Yes. You need the foreground, you need the background, you need the shadows. I mean, and where a lot of guys, they just, grip it and rip it. Oh, let's bang out a song, and
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that either. But if you're trying to explore and really give a mood, you want some of those background keys. You want even a cello or timbre. I mean, whatever's going on, you just need some background to fill up that whole stereo spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it so much cooler to listen to, like in some really good headphones.
Yeah.
Because you might not even hear it if you're just listening to it, but then you put the headphones on, you're like, whoa, I didn't hear that before.
Yeah.
And that's where, recording becomes fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's all exploration.
Well, I got a band for you that's coming up. I'm getting ready to play them here in a second. Actually, I'm going to play them right now. I think you'll really enjoy them. They're really good friends of ours here at Ecstasy Radio. They're a band called Olese from Finland, and they're an atmospheric progressive metal band. They're getting ready to release their newest EP. I can't say too much about it, but they're getting ready to they're getting ready to release their newest EP, and I can't wait to hear it. So here it is. This is Olese with their song Ajan Kusimus. And I'm joined here again from by Frank. Getting tongue-tied. I'm joined here by Frank from DrownAgain. We'll catch you guys back here in a bit. You're listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
sometimes go where it's raining, mist and cold, far away from peaceful light and warm. But I hold it, I embrace. Dark cloud shadows cross my face, Viking anger and a lust for more. And you reflect that part of me, and in your eyes I see the darker side of me. I let it go.
And that was Noshio with Solipsism. Before that, that was our good friend Tim Steinreich with his band The Mighty One with Darker Side of Me. What I've got up next for you is Ryogan with Bruises. I'll see you guys back here in a bit. You're listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
Kisses from your lips, causing internal bleeding. Try to hide it all in your mind under your coat. I was bad again, I was wrong, you were right. Like always, many times before, I was stupid enough to fight. Will I ever learn when it's time to shut up for good? I could leave tonight, but come back next week. Kisses from your lips, causing internal bleeding. Try to hide it all in your mind under your clothes. I could leave tonight, leave for good, and come back next week. I'm bruised from inside out, my skin is marred forever. Visible for you to read recklessness of my behavior, yet fracturing me from the inside, everlasting shame. Treating the symptoms, not searching for the cure. I'm holding on to something that might not exist.
Stay
Hey, I'm Doc here on Ecstasy Radio, and I'm joined here by Frank from DrownAgain. So, Frank, what influence do you think the fans have on your creative process or your live performances?
Well, the fans, my goal when I write music is I want them to like own it or connect with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime I'm writing a song that I plan on releasing, I want people to connect on it in some way.
Okay.
And so that's kind of my goal when I'm writing music that I know is going out to the public.
Mm.
And more often than not, maybe not every song on the album, but a person can listen to our album and, you know, if they read the lyrics, they can pull in their own experiences and they connect in some way.
Okay.
You know, and like you were like Cage in My Own Skin.
Yes.
You caught on to that. You're like, okay, I am part of that song.
Yeah, that's a very personal song, and
yeah,
I love that song. And that was one of the first ones we talked about. I also love Sister Mysterious too. That's a good one.
Yeah, and that one turned out a little poppier, but the story behind it is really, you know, it's the guy that's just madly in love with this gal and he wants to commit and she's not quite ready to commit. And so he's chasing her and she's running away.
Yeah.
And most guys have been on that realm somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a cat and mouse game. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so that, you know, that's basically what the song's about. And do you keep chasing? Do you give up? Do you know, hopefully it all works out in the end.
Hopefully, you know,
right.
More often than not, it doesn't, though, obviously.
Yeah. And you've seen that storyline play out in everything from Forrest Gump to Johnny Cash, you know.
Yeah.
How many years did he chase after June Carter before she finally said yes, you know?
Yeah.
And that's basically the concept of that song, even though it turned out a little more poppy, you know, but I thought the song concept is really good.
Yeah, I was going to say that Sister Mysterious it's definitely more poppy than a lot of the other stuff that you guys have done. But I was going to say that when it comes to Ghost of Me and You, I would put that one out there. Like, because like Sister Mysterious, I think is on the same poppy level as Ghost of Me and You. I would put that one out there.
They're in that realm for sure. Yeah. I think on Ghost, I know Eric and Rob are working on. There's a few lyrical things that they're not 100% on, and so they're working on that. I mean, the music overall is solid. It's good. The harmonies are great. You know, Eric's a deep thinker when it comes to writing lyrics.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'll be like, this phrase is not portraying what's trying to get across here.
Yeah.
And so they get together and they try to find the right words, you know, where some artists, my wife always makes fun, you know, you guys work on these lyrics so hard. And then she'll go, remember that song, Bop? You know, that was a hit song and nobody even knows what that means.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but we're not like that.
I mean, you got songs out there like Blue Dabba Dee, you know.
You're right. Yeah.
They're not meant to make sense, you know. A lot of people try to read into that song, you know, but if you there's actually a documentary on that song. It's actually not supposed to make sense. So.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of it is just, you know, anymore you see guys, you know, especially in the pop world, it's all about hook. It's a catchy phrase, a catchy hook.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Nobody knows what it's about. Where we kind of tend to be more storyteller vibe, you know, and so we want the power of the words to fit what's trying to get presented.
Yeah.
And on that Ghost song, I think that, there's some phrasing in there that could definitely be changed for the better.
Yeah, I'll need to. Maybe I can help you out with it. Maybe I don't know, but
yeah, I know Eric and Rob are going knocking ideas around because they have the basic idea. They want the words to flow better or be more meaningful, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the artistry of writing lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like you want to say something here and then have it come back around later in the song. It's all got to connect.
Yeah. It's writing poetry with rhythm. So
yes, if you're trying to be a storyteller type of band.
Yeah.
And that's I think that one will get there. I don't think it's I don't think they are 100% happy with it, or I tend to focus on the music.
Yeah.
I think the music's great.
Yeah.
I let them iron it out.
Okay. So if you guys they're the singers basically. Rob's the main singer. Eric does the backup. I figure if you're going to sing it, you got to be happy with what you're singing. Right. So if you guys
I leave it to them.
If you guys were to do an album, would you think it would be a concept album that would tell a story? And
I see us going in that direction.
That'd be interesting.
Because of the story, the storytelling vibe that we have. And Eric's deep into that stuff, so I could totally see a concept album down the road.
I could see that.
And there might even be songs already, mapped out that would fit that narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys didn't. I'm surprised you guys didn't do that with your first album, Emerge. But
it was a new band. It was, we were learning each other, and we'd kind of wanted to. I guess we kind of rushed ourselves a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, we got good stuff. Let's just put it out.
Yeah.
And now it's been a little bit, we've learned. And I think the next batch of music in my opinion, is far superior to the first album.
Well, if Seeing Clear is a teaser of what you guys have coming up, and hearing what I've heard in your demos, I would completely agree with you.
Yeah, it's because, it's like having a basketball team or a football team.
Yeah.
When you're you have to learn each other.
Yeah.
And that takes time. That takes time working together.
It does.
Yeah. Learning each other's thought processes. Where some bands, you have one guy that writes all the songs and then everyone else just follows along.
Yeah.
Where we want equal input. So it's our band. It's not Rob's band, and we're just the supporting characters, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so that takes a little longer to write songs sometimes, to finalize them.
Yeah.
Because you've said like, man, these are pretty polished songs. Like, yeah, they're pretty polished, but they haven't been given the check off that they're finalized.
Yeah. Well, what I told you was that these are excellent songs. They just need to be produced and mixed and mastered.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're pretty solid. They're really solid. And I've heard them. The audience hasn't heard them, and I can't wait for you guys to hear them. They're very special. They're very good, and I can't wait for you guys to hear them. I can't wait for you guys to send them over in their finalized things so we can play them here on the radio. But yeah, I can attest that the stuff that you guys are working on is it's special, and it's very epic, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here with a big smile on my face. Like I've heard them, and I can't really elaborate too much, without giving anything away. But
right. Well, and one thing I've tried to do in my compositions is, for lack of a better term, a less is more concept, so that the vocals can be more of the instrument.
Yeah, they're more of a delivery.
Yeah, because a lot of times, as a guitar player, you end up writing songs where guitar is the focus.
Yes.
And that's where, when Seeing Clear came and we listened to the bass line, it was like, I want that out front, because that bass line is kind of a little more important than the guitar.
It builds the song, yeah. It's the bass.
Yeah, it's just carrying that vibe, that weird dark groove. And
yeah, I was gonna say it's very groovy, very kind of like, it starts off. I mean, we've already heard it on the show, but it starts off with that, like that sci-fi kind of wow, kind of like, and then kind of like static sort of sound to it, and then
yeah,
and then that bass, it carries that song through the rest of it, through its entirety. It's just it kind of reminded me a little bit when I listened to it. It kind of reminded me of that band Muse, because they kind of do the same thing. Yeah, they kind of do the same thing. They build they build their guitar riffs on the bass riffs.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and like a lot of blues music tends to be written with the bass.
Yes, it does.
Where the guitar is just the accents, and and so when I heard the bass line, I was like, yeah, that's kind of the more important vibe than what the guitar's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to bump that more and make that more pronounced.
Yeah.
And then it's a deep bass, and so it really accents his higher vocals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it really mixes. It turned out really well.
I really like the what do you call that? Not the conflict, but I like the
contrast.
Yes, the contrast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I like the contrast between that.
Yep, and that was it. And then Rob, he came up with that break.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that, I'd wrote a break there, but he kind of did that vocal like he's almost in a megaphone.
Yeah.
Where he's just kind of talking the part, and I was like, oh my God, that is awesome.
Yeah. So we touched a bit about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of your dream collaborators? Like we talked about, and I'm going to ask you too, about songs that you would like to cover, but I want to know, who would you like to collaborate with, past or present?
One of my all-time favorites is Jerry Cantrell.
Okay.
Alice in Chains.
Mm-hmm.
He plays guitar. It's just a different style that not many. I don't know. I've never heard anyone use a bended note so much that it just fits. I would love to work with Jerry Cantrell, and maybe even what's his name? Art. No. Lead singer of Everclear.
Oh God, what is his name?
It's Art Alexakis.
I think so. Yeah, I know it starts with an A. Yeah.
Yeah, and they, they started out. They were, because I remember seeing them before they were even signed in Portland, Oregon. And they were a little heavier, and they did songs like Heroin Girl that were straight up like rock punk.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got a little older and they came out with more poppier stuff. But I think he has a whole spectrum of songwriting that would be fun to work with.
Yeah.
Because they could do that, you listen to that earlier stuff, it was a lot darker. And then as they got more famous and, they kind of went in a pop realm and that was fine,
That
whatever.
That earlier stuff had a bit of blues in it too.
Yep. And honestly, I would even have a good time working with like the Wilsons in Heart, the Wilson sisters,
Yeah.
I mean, they're just great musicians and just, you never know what they would come up with. I know they're old, they're older now and they're probably a lot mellower, but I think it would still be fun.
Yeah. I could see you guys working with, they're more modern, bands like, Trust Company, Taproot would be one.
Taproot, yeah.
Yeah,
Taproot,
I could see you guys doing that.
Oh yeah.
That I think even it's kind of like a creative fantasy, I guess, but I could see you guys doing something with like bands like Jimmy World.
Oh yeah, Jimmy World, yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing is like some of these artists, they do, they hear music one way, you hear it another, and then you start mapping out together, and you just don't know what's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
It's just so weird, but that's fun.
Yeah.
That would be just. See, now me, I always have been a huge Alice in Chains guy, and just what Jerry does guitar wise, and I was like, I would have so much fun working with Jerry. It'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally. He could be a jerk. I don't think so, but
No.
I just think musically it'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a jerk.
No,
I've seen enough interviews and stuff. I'm sure he's a good guy.
Sure. Yeah. So now that we've talked about your dream collaborators, and we talked a little bit about this before, and I wanted to ask you more about it. What songs would you like to cover? Because I know that you've been suggested songs to cover. What personal songs would you like to cover?
Whew. That's a tough one. There's a couple Queensryche songs I wouldn't mind doing off some early albums. And then some songs I don't think should be covered.
Yeah.
I think they get destroyed. I know there's oh shoot, who is it? I wouldn't mind covering a couple of the Ramones songs, but taking them, because they're so very punk, stripped down, and turning those into a bigger production. That's not, and that might be tough to do because then you take the song in a whole new way.
Yeah.
But some of those punk songs, they were cool. They were raw, stripped down. What could you make of them going full production?
Yeah.
What would they be? And that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah. One of the songs that from the Ramones, now that you mention them, that I could see you guys doing it, is their Pet Cemetery song. I could see you guys doing that, like stripping that down and really putting it in like a DrownAgain. Like I could hear that song in a DrownAgain sound. Like that'd be very interesting.
See, and you look at music at that time. I always feel like music had to happen at certain times.
Yeah.
And the punk had to happen at when it did.
Yeah.
And then the grunge sound had to happen when it did, because where music had gone through the 80s, it was so produced and so just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Grunge had to bring it back down to a personal level. And, a lot of people didn't like that, where I thought everyone I knew were like, yeah, this needed to happen.
Yeah.
All these glam 80s bands. I appreciate what they did and all, but it was just out of control.
Yeah.
There was no depth in the music.
Yeah, I was going to say that
you know.
Grunge and punk needed to happen to kind of wipe the slate clean.
Yes.
From the glam, hair metal bands of the 80s and 70s. Needed to happen.
Well, because it was just, at first it was like, okay, this is fun, this is cool, but then it was like, okay, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, because it was more showmanship than music.
Right. Well, and then the producers, everything was over chorused, over, digital. It was just bad all the way around.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know the band The Cult, right?
Yes, I do.
My friend had their first album, but it was recorded in England in that 80s vibe. And then they came to America and got with Bob Rock and turned it into rockin' music.
Yeah.
And we'd listen to that and just laugh. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And then you listen to what, coming over here, getting it more stripped down, raw, and turn it into rock and stuff. I was like, thank God they came here. Because, it was so bad. It was like, no way.
Right.
But that's the thing, different producers bring different mindsets. And that's what we try to do as a band collective, is bring in these differing mindsets. And then once we're all pleased, then we're like, okay, now it's done.
Very cool. And, and I think your music is a testament of that. And I definitely hear the influences in there. Definitely. I hear a lot of, in your newest one, Seeing Clear, like I said, I've said it several times, the sci-fi sort of, Star Wars type stuff, in there, but but at the same time, it's unmistakably DrownAgain. When you hear the guitars kicking and you hear the, the vocals, and them, it quickly changes its atmosphere on like a dime, and I like that about it. It's so cool.
No, I have to say, as a guitarist, every guitarist or musician, they can't wait to find the right singer.
Yeah.
And, I've been now blessed with a good singer.
Yeah.
And so now all my compositions, can come to life.
Yeah. And that's
what I'm having the time of my life working with these guys.
I'm sure you are, man. It's hard to come across a good band that actually gets to, that actually gets along together. And musicians, because sometimes, a lot of bands, they, at least, not outwardly, but inwardly, they're butting heads, and egos play a big role. Now, like sometimes, like I will have a song, and sometimes I'm okay with changing the composition, to make the song work. But sometimes I have to stand firm because I'm like, it doesn't work any other way, guys. Yeah.
At least in my head, and I wrote it, so it's got to stay this way. I mean, in a group, you want to be flexible, but there are those moments. And Eric has those lyrics is like sometimes, he's like, no, this cannot be changed.
Yeah.
Because it just totally destroys the whole meaning. And so, Eric came up with the line on that Seeing Clear, you put the chain around your wrist and stare at the key, but you won't take it off your wrist. I was like, that is brilliant. I mean,
yeah. It's, the lyrics, that's why I asked you, previously about the, lyrical, what kind of concepts you would want to explore lyrically. Lyrically, your songs are extremely deep, especially on Seeing Clear. They really touch on the basis of what it means to be human, you know, and
that was the whole concept, and especially in 2023, 2024, where our society is just engulfed with information.
Yeah.
How do you know what's real information?
Yeah.
How do you, and then it goes even deeper where, as a child, you're programmed by your parents and you're supposed to be their religion and they're this and when do you reach a level of maturity where you can see for yourself?
Yeah. You start making decisions for yourself.
Yeah. Deciding for yourself, seeing through all the crap and sometimes that doesn't happen to people ever.
No. And there's no telling exactly what we're doing now, how that's going to affect the later generations that are being raised.
It's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Although I have to give kudos to these younger kids. They they know how, because they were raised from day one with this internet and all this access to all this information. I see them and they are catching on to what's propaganda, what's nonsense.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they do, because there's so many that don't.
Yeah.
You remember the old commercial? Well, it was on the internet. It must be true. And it's like, oh my God. It's like, no.
You do realize that they can go and edit things like this to where.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I've thought for many years now, in the age of information, why is everyone so stupid?
That's true. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, because they're overloaded with it.
Yeah.
And they don't know what's right, what's wrong, what's real, what's fake. And you just hope that, people will get to that point where they're like, oh, okay,
yeah,
I've had enough. I now see what's going on.
It's like, it's getting to the point of like sensitivity, it's either really high or it's really low. It's like, there's some things that if you had seen them 10 years ago, people would have like lost their minds,
Right.
But like nowadays, when you see it on the internet, it's not, you're not affected by it, but there are other things that when you see it on the internet, people just lose their minds, and like, it gets to the point to where like entire businesses are shut down because of it,
Which I don't understand that. I don't know why everyone's so sensitive and for lack of a better term, bunch of crybabies. If you just focus on your yard,
yeah,
you don't have to care what this guy said 3,000 miles away. Who cares?
Yeah.
Focus on what directly affects your life right now.
Yeah.
And life is so much simpler.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where that come from. My kids don't act like that.
I don't have any kids, so I wouldn't know.
We come from a generation where if we acted like that, we'd have got smacked in the head. I mean,
yeah,
it's just like, shut up. We just. Our parents were a little more freewheeling with the belt and the backhands, if we acted that silly.
Yeah.
And, is it lack of discipline? Is it, I don't know. I mean, I want people to have their feelings. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a heartless guy. I mean, but be, what's the word? I mean, have enough self-respect and know that you're good. It doesn't matter what these people say.
Yeah, be conscious.
yeah, I mean, have some, what do you call that? Have enough self-esteem.
Dignity.
Yeah. I mean, don't go down and grovel in the sewer. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, sometimes it's fun to, if you're online and, you feel like stirring the pot and you want to get into it with some people and just, as long as it's fun, but people take it way too serious anymore.
I agree.
Yeah. It's crazy.
We talked a little bit about, just a second ago about, the technologies that are out there. What have you encountered with your band, DrownAgain, in terms of obstacles or challenges when it comes to getting your music out there and heard by potential new fans?
Well, right now, I think okay, so there's two wavelengths of thought on this. It's easier now than ever to get your music globally out there to the public. On the flip side, because there's a million artists out there putting it out there, there's no money in it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so how do you, if you're a band and you're trying to make a living doing this,
yeah,
it's a hard animal to do.
Yeah.
Because it's like they have squashed the artist down to peasantry. There's no, most bands, they don't get signed to big record contracts anymore. It's just out there. And so as a band, you first have to think, I'm just doing this because I love music.
Yeah.
The thought of actually making a living doing it, that's secondary.
Well, Paul and I talked about this. We have to actually get that video back up there. I got taken down because of some bullshit reason. But we talked about this. And I agree with him, definitely. He has said that it's better to stay independent when it comes to musicians.
In this day and age, I'm sure it is.
I agree with him.
Because basically any label that, where they used to, especially, I always viewed the 70s as kind of the best era for music because labels invested in bands. Bands didn't hit till third or fourth album. They were given time and they were invested in for the long haul.
Yeah.
It wasn't a one-hit wonder thing.
Yeah.
Now, the only time they want to jump on the bandwagon is when it's already been made.
Yeah.
And they just want to take a cut.
Yeah.
And so there are some roadblocks to get on bigger corporate radio. They kind of hold the keys to the castle on that. Where before I could go down to my local radio station and be like, hey, I got this album, play it. And they would. Now that's not a thing.
No, I mean, you got independent record. I mean, you got independent record labels, and then you got independent radio stations. Like you're on one right now.
Yeah.
But
to get to the big corporate radios, they kind of decide who plays and who don't, and
and it's not even the stations that do that. It's the corporate people. It's not it's not the DJs that do that.
No, and there's a whole chain of hands out wanting money to get it there.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It does.
And so, it's a dark world. It's a happy time if you're a music lover. There's so much of it out there.
Yeah, you just have to go to the right, you
just got to, you
have to find it.
And and I think a lot of people are going to independent radio shows, and because they get to hear things that aren't being played on the big stations.
And they're not overly produced either. I mean, like,
right.
You know, it's the musicians being themselves, you know, and
right.
and putting their feelings out there, their sound out there. You know, it's not, because I think when it comes to commercial music, like you said, and I agree with you, is that a lot of the identity of the band and the musicians and the artists themselves get robbed from them, you know, when it comes to commercial radio and commercial bands, you know, it gets robbed, you know, whereas independent music, it's not like that, you know. It's you get the freedom to do what you want and be who you want and sound the way that you want to sound and come across the way that you want to come across and put those emotions out there. And I think, in my honest opinion, I think that is the most powerful aspect of music itself is.
Oh, for sure. Well, and that, you know, I've always felt like that's why there are shows like American Idol.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you're going to win this. You're going to get signed to a record deal by this label. Well, they've already got the songs. They just need a face and a voice to sing it. It's all cookie cutter.
Yeah.
You know, your song can only be 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And, you know, and so what did you really win?
You didn't really win anything. I mean, the only thing you won was, okay, we're going to sign you to a label where we're going to tell you how and how long you're going to sound. This is what you're going to sound like. This is how you're going to come across. This is what you're going to do because we want you to do it and we have to sell it. And that's not music in my...
No. Well, and now you've got the whole conversation of AI coming in.
That is true.
Where a lot of music that you listen to on the radio and stuff, it's not even played music. It's just computer generated.
Yeah.
Which has made it easier for some, but it's getting to a point where you could be a vocalist. You don't even need a band.
No, you don't even have to sound good.
No, you've got pitch corrections. You've got bass programs, drum programs. I mean, it's making music like it's just nothing.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's going to save that is the live performance, really.
Yeah, because when you, well, I mean, you can go out there and you have people that lip sync things, and they can make it look like the best show in the world. You know,
right?
It's really not. You know, it's just computer garbage. You know,
right? And then, you know, that's the argument over, I've been hearing it come up a lot in backing tracks on live performances. Now, the only time we would use a backing track is if, you know, like some of the songs have some keyboards in them.
Yeah. And
if we are without a keyboard player, we might throw that in to make the song. Yeah. But there would never be, or we would just play it without it, you know, one of the two. But if you want a well production thing, you'd go that way. But never any backing vocals, you know, it would be parts that humans weren't up there playing to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, because some people are so kind of spoiled in the sense that, okay, they know your song. Now when they go see it live, they want it to sound like the album.
Yeah.
Well, live, that's not always possible.
No, it's not. And
because you've added so many layers, you know.
Yeah, why would you go to see somebody live if you wanted to just hear the album? Why don't you just listen to the album? You know.
Right. Yeah. And you know, we want to put out the sound live as close to the album as possible.
Yeah, I mean that shows your quality, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people they just want to see the performance. They don't, as long as it sounds like the album.
Yeah,
and I think that's where the backing track thing kind of started. Was people, they have an expectation of what they want to hear, and you may not have all the musicians available to achieve that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because like you can make some, like, and I've spoken with several musicians that they do something in the studio and then they end up regretting it because people want to hear it live. You're like, why did I even do that? Why did I even think to do that in the studio? Because I'm never going to be able to produce that live, because the way the audience wants you to. So
yeah, and that's the conundrum, because you want to put out an album that has, like I said, fills up that stereo spectrum. But now, if you go too crazy, now you're like, okay, this is DrownAgain featuring Earth, Wind, and Fire. 17 members behind them,
Yeah. You need to get an entire orchestra behind you. And, and maybe, that would be something interesting to see, though, if somebody were to do that, or have an electronic orchestra behind them.
Oh yeah,
that would be cool. But yeah.
I mean, I've got a friend in town that they're a cover band, and they want to put out cover music as close to the album, and they use backing tracks. They'll play a song that's got a violin in the back, and they have it on a track. They don't have a violinist come up on some of these clubs, there's just no room on stage for it, but the people appreciate having it there, because they're used to hearing it. And if you don't have it, then they're like,
then you have to think about the band themselves and the kind of costs that would go into doing something like that, to have somebody actually run something like that behind the scenes,
Right. Yep.
So.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to grab 2 acoustic guitars and a drummer and let's go play. It's just, and then that's more real. That's more natural.
Yeah, and I think, giving that, I think, like we were talking about earlier, more people are flocking more towards independent music, or indie music as it's called. I think a lot of people want that more. They want that realness more, rather than the fake, the fake commercial crap that they're pushing out.
Most indie music in all genres has more emotion involved.
Well, yeah, because the artists are allowed to do what they want,
Yes.
More often than not.
Well, and that's usually where the music, the music is a reflection of the emotion that you're feeling.
Yeah.
Now you go in there and you go, oh, I'm going to make a 3-minute hit song and it's going to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, there's no emotion in that.
No, there's not.
So there's no way to connect to it.
It's just a product.
Right. And so, that's why I think a lot of people are going to indies, or I see a lot of people, building their own playlists and just listening to those.
Yeah.
It's just because I think a lot of people I know, they didn't know about a lot of the indie music options.
No, they didn't. I am going to be the first one to attest to that, because when I first started Ecstasy Radio, and I've said it several times on air, and I'm going to say it again, it was our goal to be a commercial radio station. That was our goal.
Right.
And then I get introduced to the independent market, or the independent music industry. And I got to hear bands like yourself and the many others that we play here on the show. And I got to actually experience and get into the independent music industry. and really hear what was coming out of it. And the music that I heard coming out of the independent music industry was so much better than anything that I had ever heard on the commercial side, you know?
Yeah.
And I've in Ecstasy Radio, and I've said it once, I've said it several times, Ecstasy Radio has been several times been offered to become a commercial radio station. And every single time I've said, no, I won't do it. Because I like it better.
Yeah, unless there's a way, and I think this is what needs to happen. See, we work with a lot of radio PR people in Europe, and radio's done differently over there.
Yeah.
You know, here, the majority of the bigger radio stations, they're owned by like 3 companies.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
We need to go away from that.
Yeah.
So you could have an independent radio station that, and I know either you pay subscription or you got to sell advertising. That's how you get paid.
Yeah, we don't get paid here. So
well, and see, but that's the thing. If you want to do it for a living, there's got to be a way to get some money involved, but not fall in line with that.
Yeah.
So if you could have the best of both worlds, have an independent label radio that still caters to the commercials or however you need to do to get paid, that should be the goal.
Yeah.
To kind of compete with the juggernaut.
Yeah.
But still make a living.
Yeah.
You know. Now, how you go about that, I have no idea.
And neither do I.
Well, that's above my pay grade.
It's above my pay. Well, actually, it's not above my pay grade, but that's something that we should. Well, we're looking into sponsorships. That's something that we want is businesses to sponsor us to run their ads for them. And
that's basically the start of it, right there.
Yeah,
YouTube and you see that now, right? You see that now on podcasts.
Yeah, you see that. Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and YouTube won't do it. They sent us an email, or actually earlier this week, that said that you're being that I don't know what they were talking about, but they were like, being that you're not a positive influence, you're not a positive something or something or another. You've been, we're taking away a lot of your. I don't remember what they said. They're taking away a lot of your abilities to be able to do this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, whatever. We're just doing
what?
Yeah, they did do that. Yeah, and they sent us an email. Us specifically, Ecstasy Radio, and it had Ecstasy Radio in the title and the header and all that. They were like, yeah, being that you're not positive this, positive that, we're not going to allow you to do certain things anymore. I'm like, okay. Like,
wow.
Why would you do that?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, but.
Well, I remember, now this is just, this may show my age, but where I grew up, there was no rock radio. Period. It was pop and country, and then a little bit of AM weirdness. There was no rock music here.
Yeah.
And then one night we discovered an AM channel, which was weird. AM out of Dallas called Z-Rock.
Mm.
And I was talking to Pepper Gomez. She owns Wake Up Music record label. And we were kind of talking about that the other night. Is like how much radio changed, but now it's gotten worse. But here we had no rock music, and then we discovered this one AM station that was syndicated all over in the bigger cities, and I could pick it up, and all of a sudden you're hearing. From Quiet Riot to Slayer. And I was like, oh my God, there's a radio station playing Rain and Blood. Are you kidding me? because that was just not a thing. That was not even possible.
Yeah.
And we were so excited when we found that.
Yeah.
And I think basically the independent stations need to find a way to market to people so they know that they're there.
Yeah. And we're struggling with that. I mean,
and it's not easy.
No, it's not. What we're actually currently working on is launching, and I'm not really supposed to talk about it, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I'm the host of the show. But what we're working on right now is actually launching a live 365 server, and
there you go.
And so that you can hear Ecstasy Radio from anywhere that you want to at any time of the day, and you can listen to all the songs that you hear on our shows. You can listen to them anywhere that you want to, and it's like, it's live 365, so it's 24/7, it's 24/7, you can listen to it anywhere that you want to, and we upload our own songs, and then, we put our stingers up there, we put our teasers like you recorded for us that you'll hear next week. We're actually working on doing that right now because we wanted to get monetized through YouTube, but YouTube has made it so difficult to try to do that. And just roadblock after roadblock to do that. And we need to start, because like what I really want to do with Ecstasy Radio is I want to put, I want some sort of an income to come from it, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of listeners. If you're listening out there, we've heard you. If you're an audience member, we've heard you. We know you want merchandise, and merchandise is not cheap. So
no, that's right.
So
that's right.
We know that you guys want that. We know you guys want t-shirts. We know you guys want hoodies and beanies and stickers and whatever else you want. We know that you listen to the show. We know that you love the show and that you want your merchandise, but we can't produce it unless we actually start making some money off the radio station. And so
right. Yeah, it's kind of like egg or chicken,
Yeah.
Do you invest in merch and then have it sitting around, or it's one of those. I mean, there are certain ways around that, or made to order kind of ways, but still it requires upfront monies and
and we know we've heard you out there. So audience member, listener member, we've heard you. We know.
Yeah. Well, and I would also say that to anyone that has, whether it's us or any other band out there, go to their website, buy a shirt, but, because more often than not, they need that income, not to live on, but to prepare for touring. Yeah. You've got to have a nest egg of money. It's not cheap to travel. It's not hauling gear. I mean, none of it's cheap,
Yeah, it's not. None of it's cheap.
And that's how you support the band that you want to hear.
Yes. It's through it's through, and it's not just the band, but it's radio stations and all that. It's merchandise is how you do that. And another way that you can do that is by subscribing to this channel.
Subscribing.
Yeah. That helps out quite a bit. It helps out quite a bit because YouTube, they're not even considering it right now. But YouTube is a roadblock in and of itself. But what's
YouTube's competitor?
Daily Motion, I think.
Hold on, I've got it here. What's it called? Rumble. I know a lot of guys have switched over to Rumble.
We might go
It's basically YouTube without all the restrictions.
Okay.
I mean, there are other places to start moving
Yeah.
into,
Yeah.
whether it'll catch on like YouTube, I don't know, but
Yeah.
it seems like the more places you are, the better you are,
Yeah. Yeah. We have to get back to the interview.
Oh yeah.
We've been talking. So I want to know, we've been on this question, the one about the obstacles and challenges.
Yep.
But I want to know what your plans are for the rest of 2023. And what are your plans going into 2024? Do you have any touring? I asked you a little bit ago for whether or not you guys had a music video planned for Seeing Clear. Do you have any new music that's coming out other than your newest single?
We're probably going to drop another song. I'm looking at probably February.
Mm-hmm.
The video, we mapped out different concepts, but nothing's solid as to getting, actually on set doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we've talked with the HHR festival people in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And so I haven't gotten the solid dates on those. I know there's as early as March.
Yeah.
But I imagine that'll be all finalized here up within the next month or two.
Okay.
To get that plan rolling. And the rest of the year, I mean, it's been a weird year. And so I think we're going to hit the holidays, drink a little whiskey. And like I told you, in June I broke my thumb, and so all summer was kind of, it was on my fretting hand, and I couldn't really guitar the way I wanted to. So I'm just getting back into that. So a lot of getting that back in order. Rob is actually looking to move to America here, probably springtime.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he lived here as a young guy, and he's in Ireland, and he desperately wants to get back over here.
Yeah.
And so, he's taken his steps to make that happen.
Good for him.
Yeah. And so I think we've got some Pacific Northwest things once he gets over here, because Paul has a couple bands out of the Northwest here. We'd like to kind of do a, Seattle to LA swing and stuff like that, So, yeah, no, I mean, there's lots of things going on. It's just getting it solidified. That's kind of the goal right now.
Okay. And I asked you last time, what was the best advice that you've ever received? I want to ask you this time, what is the best advice that you could offer to new musicians coming out?
The best advice is, write music that you want to write what you feel, but always go into it knowing, I'm going to be a rock star. No, you're not. No, you're not. The odds of it are so slim, that you go in being humble.
Yeah.
You're doing music because you love it. If you get paid, great, but don't go run it because you're going to let yourself down. I mean, it's no different than any other career. You start at the bottom.
Yeah.
You work your way up.
Yeah.
And, there are some fluky bands that hit big and bam, they're on. But in today's music world, that is so hard.
Yeah.
So go in with just normal expectations. Don't think you're the best thing since sliced bread and, the world should bow to you and all that. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, because there are a lot of amazing musicians, a lot of amazing bands, singers. Just be part of the club.
Yeah.
Be respectful to other musicians.
and support each other.
Support each other. And that's the thing. I mean, a lot of music anymore is now based on algorithm.
It is, yeah.
Which is kind of sickening in its own right,
It is.
And so the more you like and share and help other, that's how you get played more on. It's just a weird world now with music.
It is. It's always been a weird world of music, though. It's always.
Now, fortunately, all the bands that I know around my 500-mile radius, for the most part, are just phenomenal musicians, but humble and good guys to work with, hang out with.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because there's too many options right now. If you're one of these guys that you just can't, like we talked about, clashing in bands, if you're one of those guys, you're going to find yourself on the curb real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
you're going to be a solo act.
It's true.
And if you're musically talented enough for that, then good for you. You can hire some guns and go do your thing. But
yeah,
if you want to be in a band, there has to be some collaboration, some respect of the other guys.
Yeah.
So
it's not a
that would be my thing.
Yeah, it's not a competition.
No, you strive for the end product.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have fun. I remember an interview with what's his name, Armstrong from Green Day. When they were looking for a drummer, they were
Billy
like,
Joel?
we could, we could have found a better drummer, but he was our buddy, he was our friend. And that's what it's all about. Get with your friends, have a good time.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
Very sound advice. Is there anything that you would like to tell your fans that might be listening out there?
Well, I really hope they like the new music. I know it's a little bit different than the original, but I think it's far superior. And I think as they listen to it, I think they'll agree.
I agree.
And I think that we want to get out and meet the folks, hang out. We're just average guys, and we love to hang out and drink beer and just have a good time with you.
Yeah.
It's and just know that we're going to just keep pumping out what we view as meaningful music.
Yeah, and you definitely do.
Hopefully they will enjoy it.
I think they will, and I definitely do. If they don't, I will. But Frank, it's been so good to have you back on the show. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, it was a good time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome back anytime, man. Welcome back.
Thanks now.
Anytime. And that was my very good friend, Frank from DrownAgain. Frank, you are always welcome to come back on the show. Always, 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 always. And I most definitely do hope you come back. So, guys, let's keep the rock and rolling here, as I always say. I've got Isometry next with their song, Break the Loop. So I'll see you guys back in a bit. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your #1 free rock and metal radio show.
I see through your light, feel something
And that was Of Spite with Sunufo. Before that, there was Dark the Suns with Raven. What I've got up next for you is Amongst the Ashes with Seeding Hate. I'll see you guys back here in a bit. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
This is Frank with DrownAgain, and you're listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show.
And that was Miara with Hungering Inside. Before that, was Chroma with Kill the Friction. What I've got up next for you is Straight to Pain with Skyseekers. You are listening to Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. Hey, I'm Doc, and I'm the host of Ecstasy Radio, your number one free rock and metal radio show. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Please do like this video and subscribe to our channel. It does help us out quite a bit. Only takes a second of your time, and it does let us know that we're doing a great job. So anyway, guys, I do have to end the show now, and I hate to have to do it, but you guys know me. I'm never one to leave you empty-handed. I've got Hug Mine last with their song, This Is Where We Hide. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys back here again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel as always. Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'll see you then. Have a great and safe weekend, and keep the rock a-rollin'.
We take it all on the chin. It's a test. We make it out. Let's begin. Beat your chest. I'm not a fan about you and your things. Leave well alone. I don't care if it stings. Alone, lonely we are. We are alone, lonely we are. We are alone, lonely we are. We are alone, lonely we are. We are. This time around, I'm gonna hide from the rest. This time around, I'm gonna hide. It's for the best. My name ain't yours, and it's not even real. I'm gonna change. It's not up to you. I'll make it real. Alone, lonely we are. We are alone, lonely we are. We are alone, lonely we are. We are alone, lonely we are. We are. Hide and seek is what we're playing. There's no need is what I'm saying. I'll stay here just happy praying. Feel free to sit and join me. It's all free, forgot to mention. Is it time to take